So you're curious about getting a job in Web3 or in the crypto space, but you don't know where to start, how to transfer your skills, etc. Don't you worry, because today I'm joined by the local boys who are experts at landing jobs in Web3 and tech, and we will be talking about the different steps that you can take in order to get into the industry as a complete beginner with no previous experience in Web3. So let's get started. Let's jump straight into that interview.
Well, hello, Sam and Claire. I'm super excited to see you back here. We're back with local boys talking about how to get a job in crypto. Hello, ladies. Can you introduce yourselves, please? And what does local boys do?
Thank you so much, Masha. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Local Boys is your go-to place to find a job in Web3 and tech. So we have a bunch of different resources to help you find a job there. And then Sam will talk about a couple of our key ones.
Thanks, Claire, and thanks, Masha, for having us on. I'm Sam, and one thing we do at the Local Boys is we run a weekly newsletter. There are about 5,000 readers that are tech native and also looking to learn more about Web3, how to land a role in Web3, how the application process is different, and how to stand out. It takes 5 minutes. So yeah, subscribe below. And let's get into it.
The link will be in the description. And yes, let's get into it. Such a meaty topic. How do you get a job in crypto with no previous experience in Web3? So a person who is watching this video right now is thinking, I have no experience in this industry. Where do I even begin?
I can take that. So everyone starts there. Everyone you know in Web3 has started there. So be gentle with yourself. I got into crypto in about 2017. And I guess my personal story is a great example that I like to use to encourage others, because what I did is I just kind of heard whispers about Bitcoin at the time and I had no idea what it was. I signed up for as many meetups and lectures as I could in the Bay Area. I was in San Francisco there. And I would just go to everyone. I would stay and talk to people. And what's great about Web3 is that people are very open and are very open to talking to newbies and connecting people. So go and show that you care. Whatever skill set you have, whatever your background is, there is some way that you can contribute to this space, and just kind of figure out over time what that looks like. For me, I had a background in marketing and in writing. So I was starting to write a blog. Once I talked to people saying, hey, I have this idea for a blog to help people learn about crypto in really easy to understand terms, but I'm trying to master it myself now. People immediately jumped on board and were super willing to help me. Now, though, there are so many other resources. So there's a ton of different videos on YouTube. There's different articles. Almost every brand in the space has an educational arm where they're talking about not only what they do, but really explaining Web3 concepts. So there's so much more now that you can get your hands on. There's also really great books to kind of get you up to speed on kind of the nitty gritty of like decentralization, the Bitcoin standard, so many different great resources out there. So there's a lot there, but I also recommend following influencers, following different people, signing up for our newsletter, just because it's a great way to get kind of an easy drip of content that fits into your normal life that will get you up to speed over time.
Yeah, if I could summarize that, Sam, ton of great advice there. I would say start following your interests. Figure out what is interesting to you about Web3, whether it's NFTs or it's the underlying blockchain technology. Maybe it's DeFi. Start with just taking some time to understand those things and what is interesting to you. Secondarily, start to network, go to events, find people, do all that good stuff around the people side of it. And then third is kind of start to browse and see what roles interest you in the space, what type of companies you're interested, what kind of products you like using. Those are kind of the three key pillars I would start with.
So essentially, it sounds like doing your research and really understanding what is the landscape of the place, of the industry, just like with any industry, right? And it sounds like Web3 in particular is very people heavy. It's about who you meet, the communities, etc., which is wonderful, which is so nice.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool space to be in because it's really nascent still. I know we think often, even like within Web3, we think of Web3 as this kind of intimidating thing of like, oh my God, it's so tense, tech centric, it's so like tech heavy. But really all of that is backed by people. Like there's people in all of these jobs creating these products, kind of pushing the technology forward and remembering that everyone is fairly new to the space. So giving yourself a little bit of grace, just like Sam said, and understanding that it's okay not knowing. Everyone is in on that journey, just like on different parts of that journey.
I remember talking to someone who's in the space, and she thought she heard a new acronym, and she was like, "Oh my God, there's a new acronym!" So it's just developing every single day, from what I understand, and every person in crypto is in the same boat from the standpoint of just learning new things, learning new developments, and understanding where the industry is going. So it's nice to feel like you're not alone in learning and navigating the space.
Absolutely.
So, okay, a person who is interested in the space, who has researched it, is trying to move into the space, right? Change careers. However, they've reached a certain level of seniority in their professional field. So, is it possible to transfer into the Web3 crypto space without sacrificing that seniority? Is it possible to use your transferable skills in order to find a role that is roughly at the same level as what you were before?
I would love for the answer to be a straight yes across the board. But I don't think that's always going to be the case. I think sometimes, especially with certain roles that are very tech heavy, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of seniority to enter crypto, and then build your way back up. Honestly, I don't think it will take long. I think a lot of these crypto pieces, once you kind of figure out the puzzle pieces of the technology, you can step back into your original seniority or role. But sometimes with these tech centric roles, it's going to be difficult to move just straight across the board. And with that comes the salary piece. So you might be moving down into a slightly lower seniority, lower salary position. But that doesn't mean that you can't move back up quite swiftly.
Yeah, and I think there's two things I want to mention there. One, it really depends on the type of role that you're in. So some will actually allow you to jump salary. If let's say you're kind of earlier in your career, you're a content marketer, but you're able to wrap your head around kind of some of these technologies and then jump in and work for a brand, then you could be kind of leveling up your salary. Others that are higher up, obviously, if you're like a principal director at a massive company, you're probably going to take a pay cut. But what's cool is that you get to work on something you love, you get to work more quickly with a really nimble team. And again, like your title is going to be just as high, if not higher, because it's really this malleable industry and role. But yeah, so it's content specific also.
Which makes absolute sense, because that would be the case if you were a career changer within any other industry, right? So, but crypto and the Web3 space is quite mysterious, and we all think we don't know where to start, right? When transferring into it. And does the application process look the same? And the resume, is there a special crypto resume? How do you position yourself as a job applicant in the space?
Great question, Masha. The short answer is no. There's no special crypto resume. There's no like hidden thing behind the scenes. It's essentially the same, a very similar job market to tech. A lot of the same skills apply. A lot of the same applications standards apply. You're looking at between like 3 and 6 interviews. 6 would be on the very high end. 3 would be on like more average number of interviews. And as for the special crypto resume, no, you're just looking at a normal resume, something that showcases your experience, the KPIs that you've had. So like did X, Y happened. I put out 10 content pieces, increased click-through rate by 50%, that kind of thing. But really, the answer here is proof of work. Proof of work is something we like to say in Web3. It's just showing that you're involved in the ecosystem. So whether that's you having a MetaMask wallet and being able to showcase that you're like 5 NFT NFTs or talk about using DeFi Llama to do different, to use different DeFi products. It's really about being immersed in this space and showing that in some way, shape, or form, whether it is on a portfolio, through your crypto wallet, or any other kind of fun way that you think of.
So one thing I would add there is it's not required by any means, but it is sometimes helpful to have Twitter or LinkedIn and just share what you're learning along the way. I've seen some really, golden candidates, their LinkedIn just saying, hey, I completed this program and I found this really interesting. Hey, this is what I've been learning so far in the NFT space. Hey, this is like what I'm keeping tabs on and a trend that I'm noticing in, enter specific vertical of this. So like, this is what I'm noticing in marketing in NFTs, and how projects are changing their tune. So things like that you can kind of like just drip, that doesn't take a lot of effort, but can kind of show a record over time of your journey, can be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that, Sam. Sometimes I'll find myself looking at a normal resume, not a crypto resume, looking at a normal resume and just directly clicking into their LinkedIn or clicking into their Twitter and kind of scrolling back and seeing what kind of content they're putting out across different role types.
Okay, so at least that that checks out with the regular job application process. And obviously it is a very technical space. So do you have to be an engineer? Do you have to be technical to work in the crypto space? What does the job landscape look like?
You do not have to be technical. Hey. While there are a lot of technical roles in demand, you absolutely do not need to be technical to join Web3. I am not technical. I joined just with maybe 5 to 7 years of marketing experience under my belt. And I have never known how to code. But I think now there are so many resources where you can wrap your head around how things work without needing a technical background. And there's actually a lot of roles in demand. And I know we have another video that talks about that. So I'll leave the information there. But yeah, check that out if you're curious what types of roles there are that are not technical.
I will leave a link to that video in the description and also in one of those corners. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of those. So my final question for you is, okay, I am on board. I've researched the industry. I started learning it. I know which roles I want. How do I set myself apart from other candidates? How do I stand out from the crowd? Because obviously the job market is a bit tough right now. So how do I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. How do you set yourself apart in Web3? A big part of it is networking. Just going back to that first answer that we talked about of like, how do you get started? How you get started and how you continue into the space are very similar. You meet a lot of people and you form connections with them. You get interested you get interested in their work, interested in the products they're working on, keep in touch with them, just a ton of networking around the space, whether it's via LinkedIn or IRL.
Along the way there, you'll also be building your personal brand too. So the more connections you make, the tighter of a story you'll have around who you are, what you're contributing, what you're interested in, and that'll come together over time.
I see a lot of parallels with the Web2 space, the Web2 tech space, etc. So thank you so much for demystifying a lot of the job application process about helping people transfer into space with their transferable skills from their Web2 journey. Really appreciate it. And once again, if you are looking for a role in the Web3 space, in the crypto space, make sure that you are subscribing to the Local Boys newsletter because it is amazing. And yes, the link will be in the description. Do you guys have anything else to add? Are there any programs that you're running right now that could be relevant?
Yeah, we're running a variety of programs next year. Things like helping Web2 marketers transition into Web3 and what the channels and audiences look like, how they're different, how you can land a role quickly in those. Other general ones that'll just help you and kind of give you a coach to land a role, helping you shape that personal story, helping you understand how to network, how to make connections. We have so many different ones coming out. So there will be a link below and join a wait list. And then if you haven't already joined our waitlist, also join our newsletter. So we have around 5,000 people. Again, it takes 5 minutes. And yeah, we love it. We drop really hot content and we're getting really great feedback from people and helping people get placed. So check that out.
And we have fresh jobs each week. So even if you're like, oh, another newsletter, don't worry. You can just scroll through, get to the jobs that you want. We hand curate them. We spend hours picking them off of various job boards every week because they're jobs that we would want to work for. And we drop them in the newsletter just for you. So make sure to sign up for that at localboys.beehive.com.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that information, for sharing these resources, for putting out so much goodness into the world.
Thank you, Masha.
Thank you so much, Sam and Claire, for walking us through the different steps that you would take in order to get into the industry as someone who is an outsider, someone who is a career changer, or someone who wants to join the industry fresh out of college. I love the fact that this industry is so young and dynamic that everybody is constantly learning. So whenever you start joining this industry, you will see that everybody has their beginner, newbie, learner hat on at all times because there's constant developments in the industry and it's so refreshing to see. Make sure you subscribe to the Local Boys newsletter because it shares so much goodness, and sign up for their programs if you're interested in a career in the Web3 space. So many programs are coming out this year in 2023. So yeah, get on that wait list and be the first one to know about that. Give this video a like and share any other questions that you may have in the comments down below. Let's see what other topics people are interested in, have questions about, and I will probably call up Local Boys and ask them. We can always do another recording to answer your questions, so leave them down below. And if you have any other comments about the video, very excited to hear your feedback, thoughts, etc. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Stereotype Breakers, and this video is only one video out of the 3 video series that we have done with the Local Boys. So if you are interested to see all of the other ones, I will leave links to them down below and also over here in this corner. I hope you enjoy them, and I know that you will learn something new in all of them. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.